I hope you guys are seeing my screen. Let's do a quick review of what we discussed yesterday, and then I will tell you guys the agenda for today, and we'll see the Docker. Right. As usual, if you guys want me to start, I can start. So differences between discuss differences between microservices and monolith. I want you guys to tell me what are the differences which we discussed.
Like advantages of microservices
Yeah,
and
you can specify like these are the advantages with microservices. These are the disadvantages which we face with monolith. So with this architectural style, we will overcome by using these microservices, right? So in that way, that's also good idea actually.
in microservices actually it is a distributed means it is a central we can say it is a distributed architecture, right?
Decentralized.
Decentralized.
Perfect.
And in microservices actually there are
Let's go ahead. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, Harish.
Yes, please.
In microservices, we can. Uh, it is easy to change anything and redeploy it as compared to monolith.
Easy to maintain, right? Easy to maintain, easy to deploy, and can change the implementation technology whenever we're building a new microservice, as it doesn't depend on any other microservices. I mean, like for the logic. Perfect.
here is due to network is sort of a bit disconnected from my side.
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. I can hear you. Go ahead now.
Yes, in microservices actually debug is easy. No, sorry. Yes, right. Debug is easy than monolithic.
That's a debatable topic. As per my understanding, debugging is kind of difficult because the flow goes all over the
Yes,
place in the decentralized architecture.
my bad.
Yes.
Right. How about security, guys? I told about security as well, as we are going to expose our services internally to be communicated with other microservice. So security is kind of little bit difficult to manage in microservices. Didn't I mention about this point?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Right. What else? What else? Is it suitable for all the projects which we are going to implement? Is it really necessary to develop our projects in microservices architecture style?
No.
No, it is not necessary. It depends on our requirements and needs.
Basically, it is not suitable for all the projects. We can decide based on the requirements. Perfect. Right.
So there is no knowledge barrier even. We can use different types of technology. Like one microservice in Java, then another microservice we can develop in like Ruby or .NET.
That's a good point. Yes. Next.
Uh, you have different types of databases even, means all are independent to each other.
So if you develop a microservice, it is feasible to work with any kind of, like, different microservices can work with different kind of data sources. Basically, not only database, it can be any kind of data source, right? Right. What else? Let's speak about some of the advantages of monolith.
First of all, the main advantage we can say maintenance is easy because we have all the services in one application.
Okay, maintenance is easy as it is just a single application. Perfect.
And debug is easier than microservice debug.
Debugging is a little bit easier as the control is within the application. Perfect. Right. What else?
We can say integration testing also easy because in microservices there are different types of microservices. To integration testing is more difficult than monolithic, but in monolithic all are in same applications.
Integration testing is kind of easier, right? How about security, guys? Since it is, we are interacting with only one piece of code, that is only a single entry point to our monolith, which means we are not exposing multiple microservices internally, so we can provide security, right?
Yes,
It's
it is easy to apply.
Security. What else?
Deployment.
Deployment, yes, it just needs to be deployed only one file, any app, enterprise,
Yeah.
archive files. So deployment is easier. Right. So we saw about gateway as well. Now let's discuss about API gateway. So what is API gateway and what is the need for it?
it's just attach a single entry point. When
So can I frame it like it's a single entry point which will be very useful when we have multiple microservices which we cannot expose directly to the end user. Guys, I'm muting everyone. If you guys are speaking, please unmute yourself and speak. There's a lot of disturbance today. Thank you. Okay, single entry point, right? So what are the advantages? Since it is a single entry point, based on that, we can tell. So the end user may not be knowing any kind of information about the implementation, the actual implementation of the logic, the actual implementation of the application. That means we are achieving some kind of abstraction. Can I tell that?
yes,
Yeah.
Right. What else? Let's talk about some of the disadvantages. Can anybody name at least one of the disadvantage which we discussed yesterday? Okay, let me remind you guys, as it is a single entry point, if by any chance, if this API gateway microservice or API gateway goes down, that means the front end user, I mean the other person, whoever is consuming our services, they don't know what is happening because as it is a single entry point, if it goes down, There is no communication between the front user, the person who is consuming our applications, and the services, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How about I spoke about this? It is a added extra hop, network hop. So there will be a little bit of lag, little bit of network delay, the delay in the response, right? Added extra hop. That means extra layer, right? Anything else, guys? Okay. There are predefined API gateways which we can just integrate into our application. I gave an example. If I remember properly, I gave one of the popular OTT platform name as well. That's
Zool.
yeah,
Yeah.
Zool from Netflix.
Yeah.
That will be spelled as ZUUL. It's by Netflix. Oh, Netflix spelling FLIX. Right. What else we discussed, guys? We saw the microservices implementation, like how a service to service communication happens, right?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So if you guys have any questions before I start.
Harish, is this Netflix is something what we watch on online?
Yes.
Okay, is the main community who invented this Eureka and Zool, all those things.
Yeah, they have multiple jar files. I mean, like it's a frameworks to work with. It's open source basically. They will make it a open source, so you can implement in your project and you can take use of the classes, predefined classes which they have, so that you don't have to extra code.
Okay, nice.
Right. Any
Actually,
questions, guys?
yes.
Yes, please.
Actually, as we already discussed, like API gateway, if API gateway goes down, then it will be affected to all microservices. So how can I resolve that issue?
There will be scaling,
How
Akshay.
can you resolve this issue? Yesterday, if I remember properly, when I explained about this issue, so I told that's why they won't rely on single API gateway. They will be having multiple API gateways. Even though if it is multiple API gateways, they will be doing this what you call this load balancing,
In
right?
that case, can you use as message broker?
Okay, message broker is a different topic, guys. We'll get there. We'll get there. Message broker is a different topic. I'll explain about what is message broker and why we need that. If I remember properly, I've been speaking about asynchronous communication. How many of you remember what is asynchronous communication?
Yes,
Yes, yes.
basically.
So now, if you remember properly, here, let's say in our case, which we implemented yesterday, our availability service is initiating the request, okay, to get some response from such service, correct?
Yeah.
That means somebody is initiating the request and they are waiting for the response to be generated from other party. So here, this is a synchronous flow, right?
Yeah.
Now asynchronous
Yeah.
flow, let me open this. Let me open this. We'll get that here, right? Let's consider this. This is our microservice, or maybe it doesn't have to be a microservice. It can be any message producer or consumer. In this particular scenario, we'll not be speaking about endpoints. We'll be speaking about consumer and producers. Okay. Whenever we speak about this asynchronous flow, right? Now there will be message bus like that. So this guy will put some information here, and he don't care about the other person whether he will read it or not. It's up to the other person. So that's all. Once he puts the information, that's all. He'll forget about that. He don't care. Now it's a job of the other person. Oh, sorry, my bad. So it's the job of the other person. Why is it not coming now? Sorry guys, something went wrong. That's why I don't open this. Let me open our favorite editor, Paint. Are you guys still seeing the same the diagram here?
Yes,
That is so weird.
it is there.
Okay, now it's good. Now it's gone. Cool. Let me put that everything together again. So let's consider this is our microservice, and this is one more microservice, and there is a message broker here that will be basically, we can call it as message broker only. It can be anything. It depends on the provider. You have multiple message brokers. Let's say if you are using TIBCO EMS for enterprise message bus, so it will be TIBCO EMS. If you are using WebSphere message MQ, that will be one more thing. If you are using open source, now we have the Kafka streams for big data processing, like it can process millions of records within second. Even though if you put too much of pressure, it won't lag, right? That depends again the provider. So anyway, it will be called as a message broker. So we have a message broker. This guy, what he will do, he will initiate the request. Even though the other party doesn't initiate the request, he will just, hey, I have something to write, I'm writing into the queue. Now it's your job. I don't care about you, whether you are going to pick it up or not, right? Now that's all. This guy will remove the communication with this guy. So I don't care about the message. Maybe if I need to write one more, I will come back. Now this guy, what this guy will do, he will read the message, right? And he will read the message if it is intent. It doesn't matter whether it is intended to him or not. So multiple services may share the same common bus. At the same time, multiple services may have their independent message queues or message topics. That depends on your implementation. So some cases, let's say there are some events. Let's say for example, we are using a RabbitMQ, a message broker. So if you deal with front end, like for example, how many of you guys have Netflix, sorry, Facebook accounts? I hope everybody has, or Instagram accounts. There will be some notifications like a bell icon, and there will be some 1 2 3 notifications, right? So that concept is basically based on this push pop. They have this web tokens or something. So basically for that purpose they'll be using message broker. So what they will do, from the backend they will push it, and the front end guys will read whenever it is available. Okay, at the same time there will be one more backend service which will be connected to that queue, listening to these events, maybe to perform some kind of analysis. That means what I'm trying to tell here is, so it doesn't matter, it can be multiple consumers can be listening on the same queue, same topic. Okay, is that clear with that? Now if you observe again properly, so this guy doesn't depend on other person. He will write whatever he wants whenever he has some information. Again, if he configured to listen on this, he will listen, he will read. If there is any issue, they'll maintain something called dead letter exchange here itself, that is called dead letter. So they'll place that message here, which will be processed again if there is any issue with the message, right? If there is no issue with the message, he's not going to respond saying that, hey, I received it, thank you. No, that kind of communication won't be there. Again, if it is required, they may implement, but basically they won't care about the other person. So that's what I'm trying to tell, right? When it comes to failures, if there is any failure, again I'm telling, there will be a dead letter exchange. So they'll place the failure message here, and it will be processed later. Maybe it will be processed later, or it may be for the human review. Human can there will be another application which will be reading from the dead letter and sending notifications to the appropriate person saying that, hey, this message has been failed and it has been placed in the dead letter, please have a look at that. That depends again configurations, what kind of configuration you are dealing with. So here the A service does not depend on B service. That means you don't wait for any response from B. So this is called as asynchronous communication. So this is message queues, guys. There is nothing to do with the um, microservices concept. It can be a monolith also. Even your monolith can interact with the message queue.
Okay, Rish, thank you. Thank you very much.
Cool. So any other questions? Okay. So if you guys don't have any questions, let's start with today's topic about Dockers. We'll see the agenda will be for today. So what is Docker? Right? What is the need for it? What is the need for Docker? That means, in other words, what kind of problem will it solve? That means there is a problem. So first, before going to any Docker or before going to implementation and everything, that means there is a problem, right? What is the problem in the current? What is the problem in the current deployment strategy or deployment process, right? And how this Docker will overcome this kind of process, right? We will see about that, and how after that we will be uh, implementing the same microservices which we developed yesterday. We will be deploying it in Docker, and we will see how they will be interacting with each other in Docker environment. At the same time, if time permits, I'll show you how they will interact with the DB as well. Like in our case, we have a MySQL DB, right? So I'll show you how they will interact with the DB, right? Any questions, guys? Cool. Let's talk about the problem. Right. How many of you guys know, or how many of you guys work with any kind of deployment? Forget about DevOps. This is not DevOps job. At least once in a while, you might have tried deploying it at least in your local machine, not using this Eclipse. You might be using the Tomcat server and deploy it somewhere in your desktop or C drive or something. Place it in your the root folder, and it will be creating some bunch of folder structures, right? How many of you guys tried that?
Yes, Harish, I've tried.
What is the problem with that? What do you need? What is the
Uh,
prerequisite for that?
Basically, what we need is one server where we are going to deploy.
Okay.
We need one. Basically, if it is a server, then we need some kind of extraordinary hardwares like RAM management, and hardware should be very high performance, we can say.
Okay.
So those things are very much required for any system to be a server.
Perfect.
And one OS will be required for
Perfect.
those things
We
to
require
run on that.
hardware, OS, necessary softwares. Right. Now let's say if you guys in your local itself, you want to deploy in 2 different servers, or maybe you want to deploy in like multiple servers, like let's say 10 servers. How are you going to do that? So you have to span up everything all independently again. So for each and every
Yeah.
server needs this 10 kind of all the sets, whatever you are trying to do.
Yes.
Now let's see this with an example. Guys, again, I'm telling you, I'm muting. I'm getting some kind of disturbance here today. Mute all I can get. Yes. Perfect. Now let's see the problem with a picture for better understanding. Right. Let's go with a new one. New. So, okay. Let's consider this as our server. So how many of you guys heard about servers, the physical data storage or server, whatever you call this? How many of you guys heard at least the term servers? Guys, excuse
I
me,
think everyone has heard.
just give me a minute, please.
Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so we were discussing about servers. So how many of you guys heard servers?
Yes.
Cool.
I think everyone is aware of that.
Okay, I'm not speaking about the application server, guys. The physical server. That means your computer can be a server sometime, right? I'm asking like that. Servers are the supercomputers with super computational power. those called as servers. Every office earlier time, not right now, so they used to have these physical servers located in their offices. May not be like, it may not be in Bangalore, but there will be some, they call as data centers. They'll be maintaining data centers, and they'll have these supercomputers in the server rooms. They'll be maintaining these servers in a sophisticated environment, right? Now, so everybody is clear with that concept of servers, right?
Yes, Harish.
Because this the Docker thing, everything revolves about this concept, whatever we are discussing, these guys, regarding the hardware, the software installation in that, the necessity and everything. That's why I'm trying to explain what exactly is a server and why we need it. Right now we know about servers, so it's just with super computational power, which will allow us to deploy our applications, everything in it here, and it will be exposed outside. That's all. That is called a server. For that purpose, we need server. For that purpose, we need servers, right? Let's say, let's see the old way of implementing. For example, this is my application, right? This is my monolith. We'll come from the monolith. Okay, we'll come from the monolith. So this is my monolith, right? Now I need 10 instances of this monolith to be deployed. Okay, so at the time, what I will do, I'll spin up some virtual machine here. There are some softwares to do that. So there are some called as hypervisors, or there are too many. Okay, what it will do is it will create virtual machines out of this physical server. Okay, so let's take this as physical virtual machine, like that. Let's consider this. So our server will be segregated into independent physical machines, virtual machines, so and so on. I need 10, right? So it will be segregated into 10 machines. I can't fit all the 10 boxes here, but assume that we have 10. Now what happens? We will be deploying this in each and independent machine, right? Now the problem here is deployment purpose, it is fine, right? So whenever you spin up a new virtual machine, whenever you are segregating your physical machine into your independent virtual machines or dependent virtual machines, what they will do is, even though they are sharing the same physical capacity of the physical server, even though they're sharing the same physical capacity, like computational power, the RAM, hard disk, hard drive, and everything, still it has to come up with their own OS here, and the necessary softwares required to be to run the application, to run the monolith in each and every VM. How costly is it, guys? In each and every VM, we need to have all the things. Let's say, for example, I need my machine, I need my monolith to work with, let's say it has integration with, uh, for example, it works on JSP, Java, and it works on, I need Tomcat server, and it has capacity to only work with Linux, or maybe Solaris or Unix, anything. So I need to install all these features, all these softwares in each and every virtual machine, right? And at the same time, I need only 20 GB of data. Cool. I need only 20 GB to work with this monolith. So right over here, my virtual machines might be divided into 50 gigs, each one into 50 GB. Right. I just need only 20. What will happen to the remaining 30? So it's just waste. It's just lying there, which we are not using. It's just waste, right? So here, if you observe properly, so we are wasting the physical system, physical hardware. At the same time, unnecessary installation of different OS or softwares which is required to run our application, right? So that is a problem with our with the approach earlier ways. So clear with that, guys?
Yes, Harish.
So any questions on that? Okay, so no questions, we'll move forward. So this is the actually this is the major problem which we are going to oh yes, there was a message from somebody. Okay guys, so this is a problem with the earlier approach. Now, so how can we solve this? So we are wasting some amount x amount of space in each and every application, sorry, each and every VM. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, yes, Harish.
Okay, because somebody is pinging, they can't hear me, that's why. Just a minute guys, I'm responding to persons. Cool. Now let's see the proposed or the current trend in deploying, how it is going to solve this kind of problem. Cool. Now coming to the concept of Dockers. What is a Docker? By definition, everybody can tell it is a container. Have you ever seen the image by any chance of this container Docker, guys? So that speaks a lot about what kind of technology is it and why we call it as Docker and it's a container, right? If you observe properly in my icon box, that's over here, right over here, that is container. It's like a dolphin symbol carrying some kind of the shipment boxes. I hope you guys might have observed it. Anyway, I'll be opening and showing you the website. Let me open that for now. Right over here. This is our Docker. This is a symbol, guys. How many of you saw that?
Yes, Harish.
Okay, that actually speaks about what kind of technology is it and why we call it as containers, right? Now that being said, Docker is a container. So what exactly will it contain? So it contains all the information required by your project to execute or to run on any machine. That means, so whatever the extra layers we are putting here, the JREs, the JDKs and the OS and everything, right? So it will come up with that. How it will come up with that, right? You will be building Docker images out of a base image or maybe from the scratch, either way. So if you are building from the scratch, you will add a image. Again, we will be constructing the softwares as an image. For example, Java will be one more image, okay? Oracle will be one more image. MySQL will be image. Similarly, if you need Python, that will be one more image. If you need Postgres, that will be image, right? Everything will be converted into images. What is image again? It has everything what is required for to run it as an independent component, which means you don't have to install you don't have to install again this OS, the software requirements in a physical PC. If all you need is just a Docker container, I mean like the Docker environment, and you just pull this image and run it. So again, I'm repeating, Docker is a container which contains all the information, all the softwares, all the necessary requirements, okay, which will be required by your application to run on any machine, any PC. So that's why it is called as container. It carries all the information. So any question, guys? Excuse me. So is it clear what exactly is a container and what kind of problem are we going to solve here?
Clear from my side.
How about others, guys?
Yes, it is clear.
Cool. Now let's see this quickly with an picture again. Right. Again, this is my server. I'm speaking about server, guys. Even though if you are deploying in a cloud, what is cloud? Basically, it's a bunch of systems formed together to provide the computational power to you. It can be storage, it can be server capacity like the RAM, CPU, it can be anything. Again, behind the screens is a group of servers, group of computers. That's all, and it's accessible everywhere, just over a link. That's called as cloud computing, and you can speak about cloud computing a lot, which we are not going there. So you can think about why he's speaking about a server. Why can't he speak about cloud computing? Either way, in cloud computing also, whatever you do, you'll do it on the server only. Okay, it's in the physical computer only. Again, the work will happen in the physical computer only. It needs hardware again. Right. Now let's speak about the same information which we discussed. Assuming this is my project, let's say even monolith can be converted into Docker image. But here, let's, for our understanding, because we already spoke about services, so let's speak about a microservice. Now this is a microservice. What it will do? So it requires, let's say, to run, I need JDK, or basically for JDK is for development kit. It has both runtime and development environment, but I need only JRE just to run my system. I mean, run my application. So JRE, maybe let's name it 1.8, and it works with let's say Unix. Right. Now what I will do while creating my Docker image, so let's consider this as my Docker image. Right, I will put this in here. Oops, sorry. I will put this in here, and I will provide instructions my Docker to pull JRE right over here and Unix. So it will pull everything in it, and I will be deploying this as a container in my server. That means I'll be spinning up multiple containers. This is container, this container, this is container. I don't have to physically divide my application into virtual servers again. So I'll be spinning up my containers like this, as many as I need, and it will take use of only whatever the space it requires. Let's say it requires only 500 MB. It will take only 500 MB, not more than that, not less than that. So what will happen to the remaining space? You can spin up more containers like that, how many ever you want. It's not like segregating into 10 virtual machines and we are using the same space. No, it's not like that. You can spin up, if space is available, you can spin up quickly, one more, like that. How many ever you want, depends on your needs. Like these many containers you can spin up. And again, here the question is, do I have to spin up the same kind of containers? No, it is not required to spin up the same kind of containers. It is up to your requirement. If you want only 10 of these instances, let's name it microservice A, and this is a microservice container of type A. Okay. I need only 10 instances, so I'll be deploying A here. So all these will have only A. These things will have A, right? In the same physical machine or server. Now, if I want to deploy one more of my microservice B, let's consider this microservice B, and again it has some other requirements. Okay, let's say it is developed in Scala, for example. Now and again it runs with Linux, so it developed in Scala. So what I will do, I'll just put this microservice and I'll tell my Docker to, hey, it requires, I need Scala, so the Scala will be pulled, and I need my Linux, so it will be pulled and it will be created as a container together, and we can deploy this in the same box or same server in different, we can spin up different Docker containers, right? So these guys will be now belongs to B, these many containers, right? So like that, guys, this is basically the advantage what we are gonna get about Docker. So it's a buzzword everywhere, Docker. So but really it is very simple if you understand. So any questions on that, guys? Or is it clear?
Clear, Harish.
Right. Now, before going to show you guys the actual implementation, okay, I want you guys to be clear with two terms which we will be using a lot. Basically, the first one is image. The second one is container. Okay, image is not container, guys. When it becomes when we run that, okay, when we try to deploy that, then it becomes container. Until then, it is just an image. What do I mean by that? See, it has everything, but we are not using any of that. So whenever we have everything, this is just an image. In the image, I have all the required images. That's all. Again, all the required images. I'm not running it to make it a container. Container is something in action, right? If you speak about a ship, it will be always in the water, right? So container, we will call this as a container when we deploy that instance in a Docker. Clear with the two terms?
Yes, Harish.
Because based on these two terms, there will be more commands which you will be working with. That's why. Cool. If you guys don't have any questions, let's quickly see one more picture. Open. Whatever I spoke about the hypervisors, whatever I spoke about the virtual machines, whatever I spoke about the Dockers in a better understandable format. Images right over here. And save. I hope everybody is seeing that. So this is a physical machine. That's what they're telling. It can be any kind of infrastructure. It can be server. It can be your PC. It can be server. It can be cloud. Anything. It has host operating system on top of it. Again, there will be, I told, it's a virtualization technology, hypervisor. So it will be creating different VMs. These are different VMs. This is one more VM. This is one more VM. This is one more VM, right? So we will be deploying again OS to run my applications, OS, and all the requires the bins or libs means the JREs, JDKs are depends on needs. And then I will be deploying app on top of that, right? This is what we discussed already. So this is a old way. Okay, this is a new way. Why is it not working? My pencil. Okay, this is a new way. If you see, we have the physical machine. On top of the physical machine right over here, on top of my operating system, I don't need any virtualization technology, the hypervisor, so which will create my virtual machines. I don't want that. Now, instead of that, I have Docker engine to run my Docker containers. So this is my Docker container. The Docker container will have all the information required. It is self-contained. Okay, so it has all the information to run. You can deploy a number of containers on top of Docker engine. This is all what we discussed, guys. So any questions on that? Cool. No questions? We'll move forward. Right, guys, I just got a feedback link from the big guys. So I'm going to share it with you, everyone. I'll give some time before going to start the actual implementation of Docker. Okay, I want you guys to spend some time and finish it up right now and let me know, guys, once you are done. I'll wait for you guys to finish. I hope the message which I shared is visible to everyone. Cool, guys? Okay. Guys, yes, no?
Yes, yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Harish.
please take
Yes,
time.
Harish.
Take time. So once you are done with that, please let me know. Then we can continue on this. Okay.
Okay.
I'll go on mute until then. Thank you. Resume recording. Thank you. So any questions on that? Okay, if no questions, let's quickly see what is Dockerhub.io, and then we can continue from there, right? So this is our Dockerhub.io. So whenever you want to create a okay, what exactly is this? So how many of you guys heard about repositories? Because Maven itself, I told it is a repository, right? So it is some place where you can find the information. Here, the information will be in the form of images. You will find the images, right? I've been speaking about images. Everything is an image. Your Oracle software is an image. Your Java is an image. Your Linux is an image. Unix is an image. Whatnot, you name it, everything will be available as an image here, right? Who will develop that? Some will be published by the official guys. For example, Oracle, they will publish their softwares as images. Somebody the enthusiasts, the technology enthusiasts who wanted to provide, they will be doing that. And of course, if you want, you can create an account, you can sign up, and you can publish your images to this one, right? It's just like a repository, guys. Storage space or whatever you define it, it is a repository. If you want to pull an image, you can pull it from Dockerhub.io, right? One more thing here, in the real environment, you may be or may not be pulling from Dockerhub. You guys may have private repositories, something like Nexus, they'll call it Nexus, like related to your organization. If it is if your organization is like it has very strict protocols to follow, they might be maintaining their own Nexus. And of course, sometimes if the image is not available from Nexus, again you may have to come to Dockerhub. So this is like a centralized repository where you'll find everything. So for example, if you see it, there is Oracle Corporation's Java 8, right? Similarly, you'll find some other Java as well, like OpenJDKs. There are too many vendors of Java, right? This is Java. It's not by Oracle. It's OpenJDK, right? Even Tomcat is a container. You can find any kind of thing. Cockroach is one of the DB again. It's also a container. Now, I mean, like it's also image, right? You'll find too many here. Based on your needs, you can pull it, right? Any questions, guys?
You need to download Docker here only, right?
What do you mean by
Of the
software? Not from the
yes.
hub. Not from the hub. If you want, I can provide you the link. It's just docker.com. Go to docker.com.
Okay.
Just go to docker.com. You can find the Docker there, and there is a nice instructions page how you have to install and work with different OSs. Based on OS, they have instructions, right?
Okay.
So, any questions? No questions. Cool. Now let's see how we can create a Docker image from our Java. But before going there, I'll just show a simple UI. There are too many tools, but this is provided by Docker guys. So here you'll find what is a running containers. As you can see, containers that's in the running state, and images. They are not containers though. How many images we have here? So many things, right? We'll speak about the images and containers again. But this is a UI which is provided by Docker guys itself to maintain your images. Because I'm not sure like how many of you guys really worked on the black screen, that is command prompt. So basically whenever you deal with this kind of DevOps stuff, the deployment, so you should be familiar with the Linux or Unix, or at least this some commands related to that. So if you don't have any experience about that, no worries. We can use this front end to do the minimal deployments, right? Any questions on that, guys? Okay. No questions. Let's see what we can do here. Now, to verify Docker has been installed in your machine or not, you can simply specify to just check the version. You can see the version. So in my machine, I've deployed Docker. So I mean I installed Docker. That's why it's showing Docker version 220.1 sorry 10.0. Right. So this is a way to verify software, whether the software is installed or not. Similarly for Java also we have been doing that, Java hyphen version, Maven hyphen version. Right. We don't have to speak about orchestration tools here, but if we have time, I'll speak about orchestration as well. Excuse me. Now, how can we create a container? So first, gather the requirements. What do you need to create? I mean, what are the information required by your service or maybe your application to run on it? Say for example, yesterday we developed search, right? What all I need? I need JDK, right? I need a OS to be installed to work, and I don't worry about my application servers because I have Tomcat already defined in our Maven POM dependencies, right? Clear, guys? These are our requirements, and of course it has to interact with the DB. We will be seeing that, but if there is no interaction, I cannot respond, but I can still create a container, right? Okay. So any questions, guys? Okay, now let's quickly see how we can create a container, how we can make our our search service a container, right? All you need is very simple straightforward instructions, guys. We will be creating a Docker file. Okay, how does it look like? What kind of information we'll have there? I'll tell right now. Let me open quickly VM editor. VM editor. From let's pick one of the Docker image which we needed. Let's say I need open JDK 8. Open hyphen JDK. You can go with Sun Systems as well, guys. Open JDK. Let's find that out. I have how many open JDKs here? Let's go with Open JDK 8 Alpine and Git, or maybe you can choose whatever you want, right? It's up to you. I'll pick one of them and I'll specify how we can do that. But if you want to see, if you just want to see whether that image is available or not, if you want to just verify, all you have to do is use this command devo cker docker pull, and you know the at least you know what kind of software you are looking for. Let's say Java, and here you have to provide the tag information. If you don't provide, it will take the default one, whatever is available. Let's see how it goes. Unable to find unable to using default tag latest. So because we haven't provided any kind of tag information, so that's why I'm downloading. That's why our Docker will automatically download whatever the latest one in the Docker hub. So if you see there is some operation going on, it is pulling. So let's wait till it downloads, and after that let's see the image. Since it is not available in my Docker, that's why it is pulling from the remote repository, guys. If it is available, it won't pull until unless you specify a different version than what is available in your Docker, in your local. Okay, Now let's see Docker, what all images we have here. That's all. That's the command to verify the locally present Docker images. So we have search availability, Docker tutorial, MySQL, Java. So these are all the available um, Docker images which is present in my local. Right. Now let's quickly see how we can create our own Docker image. There are different ways, guys. As of now, the way which I'm going to show you is basically I would say the layman way, or maybe the basic way of creating it. Or else there is another way, like using the Maven. Let's our build job do the job for us instead of we manually writing the Docker file. We can do that as well. All you have to do is include a plugin. I'll be showing that as well. But for now, let's get started with the Docker file. Right, Docker file will not have any kind of extension. That means it is just like this, Docker file, and that's all. Right. It's a VM editor, guys. I will be writing the information here itself. So first, are we planning to build our Docker image from scratch or not? Actually, I won't recommend building from scratch, guys. There is no point of building from scratch. All you have to do is choose an appropriate Docker image which you want to inherit from. So, say for example, anyway, in my application, I need Java and any kind of OS, let it be Linux or Unix. So for that purpose, what I will do, I'll be building my image from base image of Java. So Java will come with by default Unix. So you don't have to implement again, right? So based on this scenario, you will be choosing. Any questions on that, guys? No questions. From that, I have to specify my version. I have to specify my Java. So I'm going to go for this adapt to OpenJDK. You can use anything, guys. So Java is like open source, right? So there are multiple vendors. It doesn't matter which vendor you are using. So still Java is Java. It's a byte code. Any questions, guys? Right? You can use 8, but I'm going with 11. It's up to you because I found that here in our Dockerhub, so that's why. You can go with 15 as well. Nobody questions you. Right. Now that is our image name. The adapt to OpenJDK and 11-JRE, whatever is the tag name. Okay, whatever is after this colon, that is called as tag. So that is a tag for that. Now I'm going to create our Docker image from the base image of OpenJDK. So I did that part. Now what do I need? Here you will be specifying the instructions, guys. Let's say if you are building it from Alpine, that is also one of the base image, but it doesn't have JDK in it. So what you have to do, you need to specifically pull JDK again, one more image again, right? And then you need to specify the path like Java_home, like you will be taking this. So those information for that purpose, we don't need to do all those things since we have Java already. We can use the same existing one. Here you don't have to specify JDK home and everything because our image is based out of Java image. Any questions on that? Okay. No.
Harris, this image name should be available in the Docker Hub, right? Exact name should be there.
Should be available in the Docker Hub. Yes. So whatever is there before the colon, that is a image name. Whatever is there after the colon, for example, from here 11-JRE, that is a tag.
That is a tag, yeah.
Name.
Yes, yes.
Okay, it should be available. Whatever the image you are trying to build, it should be available. Cool. Now I don't have to set any kind of information like the Java home or any kind of information. If you have any configurations available in your application, let's say it has some config folder in here, right over here. Let me go to this one. So it has config folder right over here. Maybe in our resources along with the application.properties data.sql. So what you will do, you need to copy this information. So how you will copy? First you will tell your Maven to copy that into a target file, and from target you will copy that. For example, let's see, I'll show you the copy one and you can copy everything like that. Anyway, we need to copy our jar file. So I'll be showing you how to copy the jar file. Similarly, you can copy any kind of information, whatever you need from the target folder. Right now, I can write directly the command, but you can use the arguments as well. So I'll be using the arguments because I will be using this jar file some other place as well. That's why. It's up to you. If you want to directly write an entire command in a single line, you can do that. But it's always preferable to write in independent lines. Right. Now if you remember properly, whenever we do a MVN clean install, so it is going to generate bunch of information in our target folder. Let's go and have a quick review again. I guess I already discussed about it, but still I'll be showing you again because we'll be pulling some of the information, copying some of the information from jar file. Right. Let's quickly have a look at it. So this is our target. So whenever you do clean install, yesterday we did some clean install. So we have that information here, right? So all I need is from here. I don't care about this reports, Maven, Surefire plugins and everything. I need this jar file name, right? I'll be copying that jar file. Why did I run? Cancel. Okay, I need this jar file name. For that purpose, I'll be copying that. Right. I will tell my Docker to, hey, there will be a jar file available in the target folder. Please look it up. Something like this. You can specify the name if you want one. It's up to you. Again, I just copied the name, but I'm not specifying here. After copying, what do you have to do? Sorry, we didn't copy yet. We just specified as argument. This is copy. All just you need to do is copy dollar and the jar underscore file. Right. And what is my jar name? So for that purpose, I copied that jar file, right? Let me paste that here. Paste here. That's my jar file. From that file, from whatever the jar file to this file. That's all. It's like copy from source to destination. How many of you guys know Linux, guys? Basic commands. Linux or Unix, any kind of this black screen based.
Yes, Harish, I know a little bit of this.
So all I'm doing is I'm using the same commands, guys, here.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, once it is done, we need to expose a port. Right, prior to this you can copy if there is any other information which you require. If you want to mount some volumes, so let's say for example the configurations I want to place somewhere in my Docker image, right? So you can do that here, like copy let's say if I want, there is a config folder under target / config, copy it here. That's all. Docker will take care of that. Now since I don't have anything, I just want to now tell which port I want to run on. Say for example, if you look at this, we are running on 8899. I'm going to specify the same port. So like expose, expose. You have to be precise with your spellings, guys. If you miss your spellings, so your Docker won't work. That means the build image will not be created. Right. So that is 8889. Now you specify everything. Now this is the entry point for your Docker to run your application. That means you run your jar. You need to specify the you need to specify the appropriate command, how it has to run the jar file, how it has to start the application. So here we are using Spring Boot, right? There are like mvn : Spring Boot, mvn space spring-boot : run. We don't want to do that because I didn't include Maven. I don't want to include Maven also. For jar files, if you remember, you can run by using java-jar and provide the jar file name. It will run. Any questions on that, guys? That is a basic command which you will run in Java. Cool. If no questions, let's specify the entry point for our application. Guys, these are all the standard instructions which will be providing for any kind of Docker image. Okay, and there will be some more based on the configurations. That's all. But any kind of basic Docker image needs this information, like from where you are copying, until unless if you specify it is from scratch. Otherwise, you have to specify the name of the Docker image which you are building your Docker on top of that. Then you need to specify where your Docker has to copy the jar file from, and you have to specify on which port it has to run, and you have to specify the entry point. I mean, how it has to trigger the application, how it has to start the application. right? For that purpose, I'll specify this. So as I told earlier, we are going to use plain Java commands like that. It's arguments -jar. So we are going to run the jar file, and it is the same file which I copied earlier. Run edit paste, that one. That is my jar file name. If you want to change your jar file name, feel free to change it or specify it in your maven as a final name. It will work. It will work in the plugin. That's all. So any questions, guys?
Suppose we interchange the line numbers. If we specify the entry point above the from,
No.
I know it should be starting from
It has to
a
start
Docker file.
from
Yeah.
a sequential.
But suppose after that, if I put that entry point, then what will happen? Is it going to work?
It's not going to work because it is a sequence of instructions. See, Docker image, it is going to build something inside, right? It needs instructions. It will process one by one.
Yeah.
Right. I'm
Okay.
save it, and that's all. Here, I'm running on Windows, but still I'm using git bash, guys. I'll be using this Linux commands. So if you see, we have this Docker file, right? Now we have that. Remember, guys, here I wanted to show you guys the one more way of configuration, right? Apart from the application.properties. If you go in the real-time environment, even though if you have application.properties, but as the environment changes, I mean, sometimes you may have to go work in dev environment, not you, basically your code will go to dev, then to QA, then to pre-prod, then to production environment, right? Based on your needs, you have to provide appropriate configurations. What do I mean by that? Let me open a simple this one again. I hope most of you guys might have worked, but again I'm trying to explain. New file, don't save. This is my dev environment. Okay, this is my QA environment. This is my pre-prod before production. This is my prod at the end. Let me name them properly. Dev QA. I don't know whether you have pre-prod or not, but it will be there just before you sending into production. One level of testing will be there, not much. Pre-prod, production. It may not be same names, guys, based on your implementation, but there will be this kind of implementation, like what you call the CI/CD or whatever, Jenkins. Let's not go there. Now here, once I'll be deploying into this one, my dev will be talking to dev.db. Assumption is that it is speaking to dev.db. My QA will be talking to QA.db. My pre-prod will be speaking to pre-prod and prod. Basically, they'll be speaking to the same DB. That is production DB, right? Now, how can I, whenever I deploy, whenever I push my changes to dev, how can I specify my application to speak to dev DB? Whenever it goes to QA, how can I specify it to talk to QA DB? And whenever it goes to prod, how can I specify it to speak with the production DB, right? Have you ever wondered about this kind of configuration, guys? I know most of you guys might have at least implemented that, but for the persons who doesn't have experience, basically we won't be doing the static configuration which we provided in application.properties, right? We hard coded some information. That kind of information will be provided over charts. That depends, again, the technology, what kind of technology you are using. So basically it depends on the environment. We will be having different environment files, or we can pass them as environment variables. Let's see the implementation of environment variables. Right, in Java we can use a Spring expression language to do that. So we can see like this. If you see this, I'm dynamically expecting the user to pass this information to me. Similarly, user password. So this is my dynamic information, guys, which I will be expecting as an environment variable, right? What is my environment variable? So the environment variable is something which you will be providing to the application at the runtime. when you are about to run the application, at that point of time you will be providing. It's like kind of arguments. So this is how you read in Spring. It can be in Spring Boot or Spring native Spring. It works. It's used. All you need is dollar symbol and brackets in between that you have to use. So this is a Spring expression language, guys. So any questions on that?
We are passing these informations to somewhere.
We will pass the information. I will tell you how to pass the information. Say for example, if you are running in your local, if you want to run this application in your local, assume, okay, because
Okay.
every developer will run this application in their local, then only they can push it to dev. Okay,
Yes, yes.
so how can I configure this? For example, go to here, run as, again I'm running as it as a Maven application, guys. That's why run configurations. So something like this, you can set up Maven new, whatever the configuration, let's say, let's name it search, and browse the appropriate target location, search, and whatever the command. For example, I need clean install only for now. You can specify Spring Boot :run as well. It's up to you. Any instruction, basically any instruction. And now I have some dependency. That means I need to pass some of these user arguments, right? So if you remember properly, URL, user, password, that we can add here. Okay, and whatever the name, let's say for example JDBC : MySQL slash, and whatever we'll add that username, and we will be taking everything in caps, guys. Environment variables will be always in caps. Okay, if you pass in small letters it will work, there is no complaint, but to specify these as environment variables, so it needs to be in the capital letter. Root add password, right, whatever, it's a root, whatever you want, and that's all. Apply and run, it will run, but I'm not going to run with this configuration anyway. So any questions on that, guys?
No.
Cool. Now I'll be using this configuration because I specified that I will be speaking with my local truck fleet application, right? So I already have configurations, so I'll be running that. Now just to show you guys that a jar file will be created here, I will be deleting this. This building, guys, it's a regular build what we normally do. Right, our build got success, and it will specify there will be a jar file generated. See right over here, jar file will be generated and it will be placed under target folder. Let's refresh this. Right over here. Now based on the information what we have in this target folder, we will be generating our Docker image, right? If you remember properly, I created a Docker image in the folder structure right over here under the project Docker file. Right, let's go back to our command prompt. So what is the command which I will be using to build a Docker image? So it's simply Docker build. If you specify just dot, that means in the current directory, or if there is any other directory, you can specify that. That's all, it will build. But I wanted my image to be tagged properly. Any image which you are going to build should be named and tagged properly for better identification. Now I'll put it search and whatever the tag, let's say 1, my version is 1 or 0.0.1, you can use anything, the tag name, right? For our understanding simplicity, I'm just going with 1, and I need to specify from where it has to pick. It has to pick from the current directory. My build my Docker file is in the current directory. This is current directory, and that's all. Let's see, it will perform some kind of operations. Oh, sorry guys, I forgot appropriate pattern here. So I need to specify I am tagging, so -t, that is means tagging. I'm tagging my image with the appropriate tag, and that's all. So if you observe properly, whatever the instructions we provided, so it is going in the sequential order, right? So from OpenJDK, then copying, then whatever the exporting layers. When it comes to deployment, at that point of time, it will use of the port and the entry point. Now let's see the images. Clear Docker images. So it's just 27 seconds ago, right? It has of 289 MB, but whatever. We built it 27 seconds ago. If you don't specify this appropriate name, the repository, so it will take none. Right. Now let's see how we can deploy this in a Docker. So far so good. So far everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Now before going to deploy, let's observe what are the containers already available with us. Docker. For that we can use Docker PS or -a. -a is to get all the containers, including which you just killed it. That means it is not running state, even though it will be available. But if, excuse me, if you specify only PS, whatever is running right now, it will be available. Running means, let's say for example, like running in a Tomcat server. For example, if it is a web application like that, so it came with the deployment. So at that point of time it started, like whenever I install my Docker, right? Now let's see all the containers. If we have anything which I just killed, right? I don't have anything. So if you see, there will be container whenever you start a image as a container, so it will be having a container ID that is unique. Again, image name, whatever the name you specified for your image, and the command, the entry point. Command is entry point, how it has to enter, and the created time when it created, and the status. So what is the status of that? And if you are using any ports, say for example, I can specify. So Docker will have two kinds of port: internal and external. Internal means which is internal to Docker only. External means, so we may have to access our applications outside of the Docker as well. We will see that. I'll be speaking about that. For that purpose, we will have two kinds of ports. One is internal port, the other one is external port, right? And then the name of the image, name of this container. So that is a name. If you don't specify, it will take the gibberish one from here. Otherwise, you have to specify the name. Now let's see how we can start our container. Here it will fail, guys. I just wanted to show you why it will fail. Okay. Docker. So for that, I'm going to use the command docker run. I want my application port. That means if I specify a port where it has to run and what kind of expose I need. So both internal and external, I want my application to be running on 899. If you remember properly, that is a port which we specified. So if you want your expose port to be changed, that means, let's say if I want to, once it is running, I want to access over my browser, right? So for that purpose, I need to expose a different port. You can tell, hey, everything is in a single machine. Why is not a local? No, Docker will be considered as a different machine again. Even though it is your part of your machine, it will be having its specific bounds, like independent component again. So it will be having its own independent ports and everything. Again, to connect with that, we need to specify this way to establish a connection outside. So like this. Now, what is the name? What is the name? Let's say I can specify as search, right? What is the name? After that, there are a bunch of parameters. If you want, you can use environment variables like this. For example, we have some of the environment variables. If you remember properly, it was URL. We need to pass all the URLs. For that purpose, I'll be copy pasting some of the URLs here, guys. Right, like this. So I'm specifying the environment variables. If you remember properly, these are the environment variables which our application will accept, right? So I just specified -e. -e is specification that to Docker that we are providing environment variable. So we have URL environment variable, we have user as environment variable, we have password as environment variable. Now after this, what I have to do? I need to, if you remember properly, I need to provide a name. And again, guys, these instructions can be scrambled everywhere. There is no need that you have to provide in a sequence. Okay. So my name, sorry, I have already provided name. Now I need to specify the image. Search SEARCH, spelling mistake, SEARCH colon. Let's say I specify 2. What it will try to do? We'll see that simply. It will try to pull it from, it is not available in local, it will try to pull it, but in the Docker it is not available. That's why. And one more thing, I haven't connected to my Docker, like the daemon. I need to log in to, if I have any specific repositories, so I need to log in. I didn't log in that. Anyway, forget about that. Now if it is not available in your local only, it will go to the Docker Hub. That's what I meant to tell here. Like first it will search in your local, unable to find image, search to locally. That's why it is going to the Docker Hub. Now I have my image as tagged 1. Okay, it is available locally, so it won't go to the remote repository to find, to pull. Now it will fail. Here I'm not running in the daemon thread. I mean, like I need to see the logs, how it is behaving, how my container is behaving. If you want, you can. If you don't want to see the logs, if you want that logs to be transferred to daemon thread, that means in the background mode you have to specify is -d. That's all. Anywhere in this command you need to specify -d. Now as usual, because it doesn't have JDBC connectivity, right? com.mysql.c JDBC exception communication link failure, right? Why is that? I have my JDBC locally running, but it is not local to Docker. So we never had a MySQL running in your local. So for that purpose, you can ask, hey, can't I access it outside? Yes, you can access. There are some specific settings which you need to follow, which I don't want, because I wanted you to guys know how we can deploy MySQL also and how we can establish that. Okay. Now let's go back. Right. For that purpose, what kind of image do I need? I need MySQL. You can pull it from Docker Hub. For that purpose, all you have to do is Docker pull, which I already did. Docker pull, which I already did. So now I'm not going to do that. So all you have to do is search for the images available. Images, rep MySQL. So I have MySQL available. So I can use this to deploy, right? So how can I deploy? All I have to do is follow the same instructions which we followed earlier. But before going there, do you guys have any questions?
Harish, what this command will do? This pipe and grep. This grep is something, is that right?
Command related to any kind of this black Unix, guys. Unix are Unix flavors. So what it is doing is, first, pipe means take this the output of this command and provide this as input to this command. So that means first it will pull whatever the images available and provides that as an input. Now grep is something for matching purpose. So I am matching for MySQL. So it will result in the MySQL. So here it'll give me a bunch of image names along with the
Yes.
information and everything. And my grep will filter it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? Cool, guys. If you guys don't have,
Yes, sir. Harish, one
yes.
minute. Inside the Docker images already is there. It means Java and MySQL, or we need to install it or put it there.
So, okay, well, let me go to my Docker file. Okay, let me open Docker file here itself. VIM. Okay, I'm opening in the black screen, guys. If you want me to open it in any notepad or anything, please specify, I'll do that. But basically in a developer environment, you will be seeing a black screen more often. So whatever your
Okay.
preference, guys. You guys want me to open in a notepad plus, I can do that. Right? I'm taking that
We
as
can
note.
see here properly, right?
Yes, see that?
Yeah, okay, okay,
Right over
okay.
here. So I don't have everything in my Docker image, right? I am building it from my open JDK. That means by default, there is a dependency on JDK, right? My application needs Java to run. Clear with
Okay.
that point? So far with me?
Yes, yes.
Right. I need a OS also to run, right? But I haven't specified OS information here. From where I will get? My JDK was built on top of the Unix OS, Unix image. Okay. For JDK, Unix is a base image. Like they might have used this from Unix colon 11 hyphen, sorry, Unix, whatever the tag they used, Unix colon everything. So any questions? Is it clear? Excuse me. Sorry. Is it clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Akshay or Ramlal who asked that question. Is it clear for you?
Yes, Harish.
Cool.
Means we need to add that thing, right? In Docker.
We need to what?
In we need to add that thing, right? Means this jar and all.
You
So
mean
we
we
can
need
get,
to write everything in here?
okay. After that, we can see that image in Docker, right?
Yes. After that, if you extract that image, it will be there. If you extract the Docker file, it will be there.
Okay. Means that extraction in our application, or we need to means online we can we have this command or jars
No, no,
to
no. If
add
you
here.
want to extract Docker image, there is one more command which you have to use to extract the images to see what are all the layers it has formed. But if you observe the log files which we created, I'll show the log files again. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'll show that if you observe properly. Okay. Now I'm clearing for better understanding here. So I was doing, this is a command to create a Docker image out of Docker file. Docker, right? I'm going to build the Docker image. That's why Docker build, and I'm going to tag my application with some name. Let's say T search colon. If you want to, you can tag it to, for example, I'm giving, and that's all. Now observe the logs, what it is trying to do. I forgot, my bad. I forgot the
Dot.
where it exactly located. See, if you see that right over here, our steps
Yeah.
from Docker image, it is pulling the Docker right over here. It's in, I guess you guys can't see my screen, right? That is in blue color and yellow color and everything, right?
Yes, yes.
I can change that background. Edit, properties, change background, terminal, red, green, use separate foreground, colors, scroll to pop-ups. Maybe I will use this selected color as white. Oh, it's very bad. I don't know what I can do. Okay. Now is it okay? Here, guys. If you want, I can change that. Now I marked it for you where it is pulling.
Okay.
That is my first step which I provided from. So it is pulling from docker.io.library, and that's the SHA. This is basically the algorithm, the hash code it will create. After that, second one. This is my second step. Copy target folder. And the remaining steps, if there is any copies, it will be doing, and if there is any installations, it will be doing. But for now, we expose it port, and we will be providing the instructions how to run it. That's why those instructions will be used at the runtime, not here right now. So clear so far with me?
Yes, yes.
Cool. Now that's being said, our main motto is first we need to install MySQL. Guys, I'll be changing this. If you guys are okay with that, I'll be working on this. Otherwise, I'll be changing the background. So I'll be changing that. Properties. Okay, let me go back to black. Right. Now if you see, there will be two images. Docker images. Right. There will be two images, search 1 and 2. Clear?
Yes.
Because we built two images. Anyway, now we need MySQL. If you want, you can pull MySQL just like that. Docker pull MySQL. I don't know version, so I'm pulling whatever is available. So it's taking by default latest. It'll pull that. That's all. I already have MySQL, so that's why it's telling image is already up to date. Right. Clear. Now I need to install MySQL because our pods depends on MySQL. That's why it's not coming up. Right. Before doing that, I will let you guys go on a break for 10 minutes and we'll be back and we'll discuss. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, guys. If you're back, we can start our session. Guys, are you guys back? Are we still waiting for somebody?
Hi, respect.
Sure, thanks, John. How about others? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Akshay is waiting. 6. 1, 2. Okay. There's somebody. Cool. Okay. Let's see how we can deploy MySQL and then we can connect our pod to MySQL. Okay, guys, this goes for any kind of database. This is the same way of deployment, same way of installing it in your Docker. Okay, there is no magic something for MySQL or anything. There will be some different way you are passing environment variables as depends on the needs of the Docker image. That's all. But it will be same for any Docker container. So we are speaking about containers here, not about software. Okay. Now I have my MySQL. So what I will do, I'll use this command. So if you remember properly, our MySQL will always work on 3306 port. So which I don't want to happen because I have my local MySQL which is running already. So I'll expose 3309, a different port apart from 3306. Right. Docker run. So I need to specify ports. For that purpose, I'll -p. So I'll be using 3309:3309. That is my internal and external port which I want to speak with MySQL. Right. Now here is the thing, guys. When you are deploying with Docker, so you need to bring if there is a communication between multiple microservices, right? You need to bring them under single hood. That means you need to bring them under a single network. Here, for that purpose, before going to deploy, I'll be creating a network, right? How it looks like with a better understanding with the picture. New a network in Docker again, guys. A network in Docker. It's something like namespaces. It's like segregating, grouping bunch of things together. That's all. Right. This is my network. Okay. If I don't use this network for deployment, so what will happen? My Docker pod will be hanging somewhere here, 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 here. So there won't be any interconnection between these guys. It is not possible. It's not possible. So for that purpose, you have to deploy your Docker here, 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 and we will be using the pod names to establish the connection. By using the pod names, we can establish the connection between these guys like that. If it is in a network, if it is outside, We cannot establish connection like this. That is not possible. Clear, guys? Any questions on that? Right. Let's see how to create a quick network. Okay. For that purpose, there is a command, something called Docker, Docker network, whatever the name, hyphen name. So you can use that name. So for that purpose, let me create. You can name anything. Say for example, I'll be going to do my net. It's my network, so I'll be going to do my net or my network. It's up to you guys. Okay. Docker network, network network, create -d. D means in the background mode. I don't want to see the logs here, so I just wanted to show you guys how it works. That's all. That's why I'm using D. Otherwise, we don't have to use D. D means detach. BRIDG bridge. And now the name of my network. So I will be going with my net. It's up to you. Name anything. Oh, error response with the name already exists. Okay, let's change it to my network. That's all. Now you know our name. So that is our network. Right. Now let's deploy our Docker images in this specific network for now. For that purpose, we need MySQL, Docker run, the ports which I need to specify. So for this purpose, I don't want to use 3306 because it's all been already used by MySQL, which is running. If you remember correctly, this is my MySQL, which is running already on 3306 port. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to use 3309 internal and external ports. Right now, the name of my the container. If you want, you can name anything. For now, I'll specify the name also MySQL. Or if you want, you can specify truck-MySQL. Anything. It's just a name to identify the container. That's all. Now, MySQL expects some parameters to be passed as an arguments. There are multiple. So for now, I'll be using only single parameter, that is root password. That is environment variable. Like this, we have to pass any kind of environment variables. You need to append -e before that. So it will be like MySQL underscore root underscore. If you don't pass, it will complain. Password equal to, I'll be using root and the image name MySQL. This is my image name. Here I didn't use any kind of network. So for that, what I have to do, you can name anywhere network. So I'll be, for better convenience, network. I'll be using my network like that. It will take some time because it's a 500 MB file, so it will take some time to come up, but let it come up. Let's wait. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions?
Yeah. You said already MySQL is running on 3309, right? So you're using same port.
3306.
Oh, sorry. Okay, 306.
The default
And
port,
hyphen name is the name of the Docker image, right?
the name of the container.
The name of the container will be okay.
Yeah, once you
name of,
once we are running, if we want to run it, then it will become a container. Remember that point?
yes, yeah.
I'm providing a name.
And then we specified the network, and is this name should be specific, like MySQL under root
You can give any
underscore.
name. You can give your name. Doesn't matter. It is uniquely to identify when you are searching for containers. You don't remember like the address, right? The ID will be some gibberish characters like algorithm generated. So to when you work with hundreds of containers, so you may have to grab based on their names. It's really hard to maintain with IDs. So it's just to uniquely identify container. That's all. You can give any name.
Yes, no, I'm asking about this argument -a MySQL underscore root underscore password.
Oh,
Is
that
this
environment
fixed?
variable. Remember previously we were passing for our argument. We are passing URL password user. Like that, it is one of the environment variable which will be expected to provide for the Docker by user, whoever is using this command. So by default here it is allowing us to set the password for the root user. But if you remember, yes, go ahead.
Yeah, is this our what we say argument name is the fixed one, right? MySQL underscore
It is
root underscore password.
fixed. To know about these arguments, you need to review the documents docs provided by MySQL.
Yeah, that is what I was asking. Okay.
Yeah, you will get this.
And what about if we have other schema? If I want to access with another connection in MySQL, we have multiple connections, right?
Yes, you can use the same MySQL as a server.
But there are some username and password that will be the different, right?
So you need
How
to
we will?
that's what you need to make it configurable by providing environment variables.
Okay.
So you cannot
For
have,
that also we need to refer the documents, right?
yes,
Okay.
right. So it will take some time, guys, because it's as I said, it's starting a server behind the screens. So it will take some time. Let's wait for that to come up. Right. Any other questions?
Suppose we are spinning these containers in Kubernetes.
Right.
So in that also we need to make the networks, or it will handle all those things. We
So
just need to
Kubernetes
paste the
will have
image.
namespaces, not network.
Sorry.
Kubernetes will have namespaces. There is a concept to group a bunch of releases together. It will have a namespace. So under the same namespace, it will communicate. So it is kind of network. Namespace is kind of network.
Okay, that namespace we need to create, right?
Create. Yes. Kubernetes is a different topic altogether. Kubernetes is on top of Docker. It is a container orchestration tool.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
or something.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't create networks, or if you don't create any of this kind of grouping together like namespaces, it will by default go in the default namespace, and in the default namespace you cannot establish communication. That is a problem with the default
Okay.
namespace or default network.
And if we are having it here also, we need to create the network, right?
Sorry, I didn't get the question quite right. What was that?
Yeah. As of now, we are using the network, right?
Yeah,
If
as
we
of
don't
now,
use network, we will not be able to connect, right?
yeah, if it is outside of the network, we will not be able to connect.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
Right. If you need the demo, I can show that while deploying outside of the network without using network name, and we will get a communication link failure exception because it cannot find the specified IP address or specified container name. Here I'm showing you, I'm telling you, you can connect, but there is some specific configuration which is required. So that is a hectic process. So let's do it in an easy way. That's why I'm trying to do it in network. You can use IP name,
Okay. Okay.
find out the appropriate IP name and expose the port. You can do that. Right. Does it started? Okay. It started in 3306, but still it will expose 3309 for us. Right. Started, right? That's good. MySQL socket server started, failed. Yeah, good. Now we need some schemas in here, right? So let's see how we can create schema. Why it's not coming out? It'll take some time, guys. Wait, give some time. Right, I've been speaking about schemas. If you remember properly, our JPA has capacity to create tables for us, but not the schema. That means database. It cannot create an independent database. For that purpose, we need to manually create a schema. In the real-time environment, nobody will do that. That means in the real-time environment, there will be a job which you will configure to create that for you. You will not be entering inside the pod and create a schema. No, there will be some other job file which is called as a job, which will run off on top of this MySQL, will create schemas for you. Again, all these things is a developer environment, guys. But production server will be held together always separate, and you will be establishing a connection from your Docker environment to that environment. Clear with that statement or any confusion?
Yeah. Clear.
Right. Now let's see how I can connect to my, anyway, if you can launch the any pods or any kind of containers in interactive mode, that is like this. Execute -it interactive terminal. It means interactive terminal. Now if you know the network, you don't have to connect. Now you know the pod name. My pod name is MySQL and the tag name is MySQL. So I'm going there, and you know your user root name, basically user root user, that is root, and I know my password -p. That's all. It will ask for the password. If you remember properly in our first session which I did on MySQL, I connected to MySQL using the same commands, MySQL -u root -p by using the command prompt. So same command here also. It's nothing new here, right? That's all. Enter password. I gave root as password. So this is the same screen which we saw when I gave an introduction about MySQL, guys. Remember?
Yes, Harish.
Exactly same. Now let's see how many databases we have. Show databases. Show data. Okay, there is a space. Show databases. Semicolon. Right, we have two different databases, but I don't have the database which I'm looking for. Let's say I want to create a database by name, database schema by name search. Right, for that purpose, I will be using a command create or a SQL statement database search. Right, now if you see that how many database we have one more. I'll be exiting. Right, that's all. I don't want to create tables. My JPA will do that for me. Now if you see Docker ps-a, we have MySQL running. MySQL running, right? It is in the running state up. If you see the other one search, it is in the exited state. That means it's not able to connect. It's not able to run properly, right? Now let's kill that. Okay, let's remove that container and we'll restart the container again. How can I do that? For that purpose, Docker rm. You can either go with the container name or container ID. Let's go with the container ID for now. Right, that's all. I'm removing my container. Oh, you cannot remove, stop the container before running. Oh, I'm removing the wrong one. I'm removing the wrong one. Sorry, I'm trying to remove MySQL. Sorry, guys. I need to remove this one. Right, that is what I need to remove. Perfect, now I removed. So if you see, there won't be any containers with the name search docker ps-a, all containers. So we have only two containers. Tutorial that was a long time, it came as a default, and MySQL. Right, if you want to see that in your UI, let's go back here. Let's go to container apps. So right over here. Here there are some basic features. If you want to connect to terminal directly, that whatever that kubectl, whatever that exe-it we did, right? So that will open a prompt like this. Open, bro. Why is it not opening? I need a CLI like this. So you can do directly interact with MySQL. Either way, same. You will be landing in the same place. Right. That is advantage of UI. No, we don't want that. Let's go back and start our container. History. Because I'm too lazy to type the commands again. So I'll be using this Docker. Edit, copy, paste. But there are some changes which I have to do. This is my search instead of truck fleet. SEARCH search. So here I need to specify which network it has to work. Net work, which it has, my network. My network. The spelling, is it correct? It's correct. So I need the image as one. I don't want the second image. Right. That's all. Let's see how it goes. Okay, trying to start. Right. Right. If you see that the it established connection, that's why it didn't throw any kind of error. We were able to see that. Now let's see how we can access this, and let's see our Accurator endpoints. If you see, there are some Accurator endpoints, right? Right. For that purpose, let's find out the port 8899. Right. Let me open a new window for Docker. Right over here. Here. If you have any doubts on which port it is exposing, so you can see like this, Docker PS. So it will specify the ports as well. If you see this, ours is running in this port, internal map to external. So these are all internal ports to our MySQL, and they map to 3309. Okay, clear on that? Which is external, which is internal? Clear with that, right?
Yes, Harish.
Cool. Internal means internal to Docker, guys. Internal to Docker. That means your Docker image, internal to Docker image. That image will be running on 8889 port. Cool. And we'll be mapping to external port. That's all I did here. Now let's say open our browser. So I'll go to, forget about search all, Accurator, because Accurator is also one of the endpoint. Sorry guys, I'm responding for a private chat. Sorry on that. Oh, sorry, I responded to the wrong person. Right, we have, that means we were able to deploy our Docker image, first Docker image, and we were able to access the UI details. Let's see the mappings, what kind of mappings we have. We have get all, search for get all, get images, search. Okay, we have search all. See that? Now let's copy that. Let's paste it here. Not found because we don't have any data. Clear, guys?
Yes, Harish.
Right. So now if you want to see the communication between this application to another application, we will do that. But for that, we need a better exception handling, because it will throw a bunch of exceptions because it's not providing any kind of information right now. So that for that purpose, let's do a little bit of code change. I know this has nothing to do with the code, the Dockers, but for a better handling, we will do that. Stuck now. Come on. Sorry guys, too many applications running in my PC. Okay, let me go to our availability, because that's what we configured yesterday. Right. So let's go to our truck detail service, sorry, availability service. Since I don't have any data, it will throw an exception. That's why I'm trying to handle that exception right now here. Surround with try catch, REST client exception. So let's add one more exception. It is. Come on, don't lag. That's because Docker is eating too much of our memory, guys. That's why. Let me close this so that I will be having some space. Ex. Don't allow me to type. Ah, crap. Why is it behaving like this? Come on. So I'm just generalizing the exception, guys. I don't want to do much here. So if some exception comes, I am returning null, right? So we'll be returning null. Sorry, guys. Today it's misbehaving our Eclipse. Okay. Right over here. Surround with try catch. So I will be returning a null statement here as well. Basically, we have to return optional or maybe empty list. So let's say I will be returning empty list. Come on, don't block now. List. That's all. In the front end, let's go to our API layer. So here, anyway, I'm handling it here. Okay, something went wrong. Responsibility perfect. Instead of this, I'll write an exception, generalized. So it will catch. It has capacity to catch everything. Let's see now how it works. Do I need to change anything? Yes. If you remember properly, we need to configure. Else, if you guys want, let's connect with our H2 database just to show that two different microservices can interact with two different databases. Or if you want, I can connect with MySQL only. It's up to you guys. What do you guys want me to do?
I think MySQL will be better.
So we have to connect to MySQL. For sure, we can do that.
Yeah.
Let's go to service, search. Where is our resources? Application.properties. I'll be copying everything here to application.properties of here. This. So I'll be copying to here. Right. Now I don't need all these things. Remember the URL, I configured it directly to search. You can pass it using this environment variable as well. Similarly like this, guys. But anyway, let's leave that. But whenever you're configuring, you don't have to use a port. Even though if you use a port, there is no value added. Actually, internal communication can happen with the name of the pod which we deployed. I mean, name of the image. Search is the name of the image which we deployed, so it will take care of that. Now let me print that communication has been happened right over here. If it won't communicate, it'll throw an exception. Okay, why don't we do fun part here? Let's try doing that with our Docker images. Before going there, guys, do you guys have any doubts what I did here? I just handled appropriate exceptions and I just configured where it has to communicate with what. That's all I did here. If you guys have any questions, this is your time to ask. Cool. If you guys don't have any questions, what I will do, I will simply copy paste this Docker file right over here, and I will be editing it in here. So I'll close all. I'll edit here. From OpenJDK, I'll take the same thing, but instead of search, let's see what it will print here in our target. So it's not there. So let's refresh that. Right. So we will be taking this cancel. Over here. Delete right over here, and the port will be different. 8. Excuse me. Port will be different. Right. Any questions, guys, here? And whatever we did so far.
With the curly braces, dollar curly braces, we are taking that argument, right?
Yes, we are taking that argument. That means that argument is available anywhere. It's like a dynamic. It's just a variable, like a placeholder, like int I equal to 0, something like that.
Okay.
Cool. So no questions. Let's go forward. Here I'll close here, and I will build by passing the same parameters. Run as, run configurations. Since I'm so lazy, so I'll just change here this one to availability, because we'll be expecting the same kind of parameters everywhere. Play, run. So it'll build me a jar file, the latest one. Okay, build failure. Right, let's see what is it failed for. Static import only from classes and interfaces. org.junit does not exist. Compile time failure.
It is not there.
Yeah. Some compile time failure is here, but it never showed any issue here. What is this? Availability service .java 3,24. Availability service 3,24. Availability service .java. Where is availability service? Right over here. 3,24. Where is our 24? What do I have here? Of course, why this assumption came here? That's really weird, guys. Sorry. Because of that misbehavior, so many unnecessary imports came into place. Right. Now it should fix it. Run as, run configurations, clean install. Run. Again, this is crap. Compile time error, but it's not showing any compile time error. Is it showing compile time error? Unchecked or unsafe operations. Okay. JUnit does not exist.
It is saying JUnit.
But I never reported JUnit.
Yeah.
I didn't save it. Sorry, my bad. I didn't save it. Okay, availability service, beans availability. What is happening here? Availability service. Beans are truck details. I have truck details. So what is the problem now? Okay, I'm removing it. Sorry guys, our it's misbehaving right now. So bear with me for some time. Yes, I guess I need to leave it. So ed space AVIL availability clear vn bean stall. It will try to connect to database and it will fail anyway, but at least it will solve the compile time errors. So my compiler never complained. It went to tests. That is good. So now it will complain because of the connectivity. I should have passed the environment variables, but still it's okay. Yeah, this is expected. This is I didn't pass because environment variables, guys. That's why it's not able to create the factory. Anyway, I have everything here. Let's refresh this. See, this is a problem with Eclipse. Shit. Ah. I'll do one thing. I'll just remove this and I'll re-implement. Import again. Okay. Project clean. Where is my? Oh, I don't have it. Clean all projects. Okay. File. Import. Existing. Next. Browse. Desktop. Spring Boot training. Projects. Availability. Okay. Finish import. Okay. Still it has some errors. No. That is good. Now let's run this. Configurations, clean install, availability, perfect. Let's run this. Right, we passed that compiler thing. Availability tests are running. Good. Now it connected to our database. That's why it's not showing, because we passed the environment variables in Eclipse. Cool. The build got success. Let's go here and let's create the Docker image out of availability, right? Docker build, build, build -t for tagging, availability. So if you want to tag latest, we can tag that. But if you want to tag one, like as an indication that it is a version 1, you can tag that. It's up to you. And I forgot to put the dot again to represent the current working directory. So again, the same steps has been, it is following the same steps again, guys, sequential steps one by one. Right. Now let's check the images. Docker images, and that's all. There is availability 14 seconds ago. Clear with that, guys? Any questions on that? Right. Now let's see. Since I'll try to deploy it on a different. We tried that already, right? We tried deploying on different network. Do you guys want me to try that again? Instead of using a network, do you guys want me to show how to deploy outside of the network and try to connect to database and the other component? I can do that if you guys want.
Yeah, that will be also better.
Okay, let's see that. So Docker, right? Docker run. If I want to run on port, for this I specified 8899 internal and external both, right? Hyphen name availability availability, and I don't want to specify my network here, right? So for that purpose, instead of network, what I will do is I'll specify my environment variables, right? This has to be like, instead of truck fleet management, let's connect with the same schema which we created. You can create a new schema and you can appoint it, but for that purpose I have to log into MySQL again. Anyway, it won't connect now. It will throw exception. For that purpose, let's connect to the existing one itself. Right. Now I need to specify the image availability :1. I hope the spelling is correct. Perfect. Again, I'm not running in. I'm not detaching the output. I'm not sending it to daemon. I'm trying to get it everything here logged properly. Right. That is because we are not in the network. If you see, there is a connection failure thing going on here all the place, like this. Okay, this is because we didn't deploy it inside the same network. If you want to connect, there is a different configurations which we are not speaking about that right now. It takes time to configure everything. Right, let's see how we can deploy it in Docker, in the network. Before going there, do you guys have any questions? Okay, so no questions. Since we created a Docker image, we try to run. There will be an image print with the availability name, so which we have to remove. Otherwise, it will tell there is an image name availability and it is not running. So please avoid duplicates. So for that purpose, I'll be removing this container. Docker rm edit paste enter. Cool. Now let's run the same command. I'll be using the same command. So instead of this here, I will be connecting to network my network. I hope that it's not wrong spellings. Cool. Okay, let's see. There is a problem with Hibernate again. Unknown database service.
I think service is not there.
Search. It was search.
Yes.
So that's what I was complaining about. If we don't create databases earlier, so it cannot create database. Instead, it will create the tables. So there will be a job which will do all the stuff for you guys. So you don't have to worry about that manually every time. Now let's change that. Let's change that to search. SEARCH, search. Oh, see, we tried to run a container. So I didn't remove that container. The print was there. The footprint was there. So that's why it's complaining, saying that, hey, there is a conflict. That's what I was speaking about earlier. Docker rm, find the footprint, remove that. Right. Okay. Same commands. I guess everything is fine right now. Cool. Right. So started creating table. Perfect. Perfect. Everything is perfect. Now it started in 8899. Let's explore that 8899. Localhost colon 8899 slash ACTUATOR architator. I don't know the spelling, but it's correct, I guess. Okay, so that means we were able to deploy the application one more time in our network properly. Right, now let's search for mappings. I guess we have all the mappings already. Place for availability, AVAILA availability. So it accepts 2 parameters, and we have that already configured right over here. So let's search that. It's taking time. Right, something went wrong. That's because our service is returning null. There is nothing. If you go and check the logs, that's the exception. Right, returning before returning list null. So we are getting 404 not found exception. That means our list is empty here, not found, no details found. That is 404 exception, and we are not handling that properly. That's why we're returning 500 exception, the internal exception. So anyway, if the communication is happening, the main goal is to show that the communication is happening from one service to another service, and how to establish the communication. So any questions on that, guys? If you guys want to see the proper data, let's install, let's put some data in the database, and we can see the data. It's up to you guys, whatever you want me to do.
Let's try with single data.
Okay, sounds good. For that purpose, let me open a new window again. I cannot duplicate this, I guess. Restore, move, minimize. No. Let me go here all the way. Git bash here. Okay. For that, first I need to connect to my database. So how can I connect to my database? Again, Docker commands. Docker exe interactive mode IT, that is interactive terminal. You can connect not only MySQL, guys, you can connect to any Docker image, any running Docker container, basically. Right. Now here I need to provide the appropriate MySQL commands to connect MySQL, my pod name MySQL, and it is username root -p password root. right? So show databases. Right. Okay. Now select database search. Oh, I went wrong in the MySQL server search at
I think use.
use, not select. My bad. Exactly.
Yeah.
Use.
Use search.
Use search. There is no database.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Right. That is good. Oh, I cannot use clear. No, I cannot use clear here. Okay. Anyway, I'll be moving that way. So let's see tables. Let's see LECT. SE LECT select asked it from our table names. If you remember properly, it will be truck underscore details. Truck underscore details. Empty set. There's nothing, right? So let's insert data. For that purpose, I have composed some data here. Search my resources, data SQL function. Why can't I select everything? Okay, it's not allowing me to select the query. Control C. So I'll be pasting that here. Right, now let's select. Oops, why is it going top again? Okay, like that. Clear with that? We created a table. Sorry, we created a data. Now let's do a quick search. I guess we need to commit here. Right, not required. Okay, let's do a quick search in our search all. Where is our search all? Right over here. Let's do that. Getting the data. We didn't insert anything. Let's do search all. Getting the data. Clear with that, guys? How they are communicating? If you want, we can see the logs as well. It might have printed some data somewhere. Okay, after we are not logging anything here, I guess. After that, so it didn't print anything. Didn't print any logs. Either way, we are not directly communicating with available detail. Sorry, truck details table. We are calling the truck service and we are getting the details here. Right. Any questions on that, guys? Any questions on any of the topics which we discussed so far? There are some other commands which you may have to use, like kill command, killing the appropriate. Let me show that. How can we kill that? So I don't want this now here. I will. Okay, it came something. It's logging after a long time. It's okay. So truck list received. Our bash is a little bit slow. Come on. Sorry guys, let's wait for it to respond back. Right, meanwhile, do you guys have any questions on any of the topics which we discussed today about Docker, the advantage of Docker? Or first of all, if you guys didn't understand anything about Docker, please let me know. I can explain again. Cool, no questions. Let me show you how to kill a container, running container. Crap. Let me open the other shell. Maybe I'll take this. Hope it'll okay, it worked. Right. Docker. Yes. So I want to, let's say I want to kill this Docker 1.101 tutorial. Okay, I'll copy that name. You can kill using ID, container ID, or image name, guys. Anything is fine. Basically not the image name, the name of this, the tag which you created for that container. Right. So Docker kill, you copy this, paste it here. Okay, that means it's not running anymore. You can see that. But that footprint will be there in all processes, in all the containers. I mean, when you do this, because we terminated it forcefully, it will be in the terminated state. That means exited state. Now, if you want to completely remove that, so you can use Docker RM and the same name, or this time let's go with the ID. Just wanted to show you what all you can use. Copy, paste. That's all. That means we are removing the footprint also. Next time when you want to deploy again, it will create a new Docker container. So for your information, we have only 3 containers running right now. Right. Any questions, guys? Any questions or any concerns, or if you guys didn't understand anything, I'm more than happy to help you again. Now, are we clear with the configurations? How we are going to do, how we are going to hook up these pods together? I mean, like these containers together to communicate with each other. Now, if you observe properly, we have 3 different containers. Let me put it in a picture for better understanding purpose again. So we have a container, we have a container, we have a container. Let's name this container as search. Let's name this container as availability. And this is our DB. There is also a container, MySQL. All containers, guys. Now there is a dependency on MySQL for search, similarly for availability. For availability, there is a dependency on search. So this is a control flow. And we can access search API outside. We can access availability API outside. If you want, you can access MySQL outside by using 3309 port. Right. So this is a flow, and we established connection between everything because we deployed everything in a network. Cool. Any questions, guys? Perfect. Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, we'll go on a quick break and we will be back. And I have some things to do before we leave for the day. Sounds good?
Yes, Harish.
Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll be meeting again in 15 minutes and we will be discussing about some of the feedbacks which I need to gather from you guys. I mean, like I need to provide on you guys to your employer. Something like pre and post, something like that. So it won't be long. I'll not take much time, but I need your attendance, guys. Please don't drop right now. Okay, thank you. And we will be speaking a little bit about NoSQL databases. Okay, thank you. And please join back. Was asking about NoSQL databases. If I can provide some information on that, it will be really helpful. Okay, let's have a quick look at some of the NoSQL databases which are available right now, and what is the real difference between these two. Okay, very quickly. I cannot provide you complete information because we did not have enough time. It's just like at least it'll give you an overview of what is NoSQL database. Okay.
Yes, Harish.
Right. How about others? If you guys have any experience, please feel free to suggest, because I literally have experience on only couple of databases. There are like bunch of databases. I am expertise with Janus graph, basically Tinkerpop. So it's like a graph technology, right? That is also, we can call it NoSQL, but because we don't use SQL to query, right? Let's speak about the technologies apart from DBMS, database management systems, that is relational database management systems. So how many of you guys work with any other database apart from DBMS or DBMS? Let me open this. Guys, any information, any comments?
I have worked on Oracle only, Oracle and SQL. SQL is not that much.
Okay, so basically nobody worked with any kind of other technologies like databases.
Yes, I think.
Okay, let's speak about first the differences, the main differences. Then we'll speak about some of the technologies which are in play right now. Okay, right. In RDBMS, the data is structured. Right, in RDBMS, that is in RDBMS, the data is structured. Right. What do I mean by structured data? Will data have any structure, like it has to be in straight line or something like that? No, not like that. So it has some characteristics which you're going to divide, and place your data in database tables, right? And there will be a relation between each and everything. So that is structured data, which means there exists some structure to identify the relationship, right? In NoSQL databases, first of all, what is NoSQL means? Not only SQL, not only SQL or SQL, whatever you call. So it will be really helpful to store, even if you ask, can't I store the relational data? Of course you can store, but relational database will be better for relational data. The performance.
Your notepad is not visible, I think, if you are sharing.
Oh crap, I'm sharing. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah, I'm sharing right now.
Yeah, now it's
Yeah. Okay. In the data, did I start recording? Yes, I did. Yeah. Okay, cool. So in NoSQL databases, the data will not be in arranged format. I mean the structured format. There won't be any relation between one data to another one. Let's say, for example, let's speak about a data which will be generated by networks. Right? There will be bunch of data, bunch of connections between one to another, one to one more thing, like one hop to one more hop. Let's say networks. For example, let me take this like this. All this kind of information will be provided in a JSON format, like different hops, different servers, whatnot. Everything. I have bunch of data like everywhere, and the connections between everything. It will connect to this one, it will connect to this one, it will connect to this one, it will connect one more hop, it will connect one more hop, it will connect one more hop, right over here, right over here, right? I'll be getting data in JSON format, which is not structured because I don't know. So this guy may have like 20 characteristics, like ID, something like a name, ID, subtype, the connection type between these two guys, um, maybe some other properties, internal relations, external relationships, so many things, right? So it is the structure. It is there exists no structure. This guy may have only 3 characteristics. This guy may have only 1. This guy have maybe again 20. This guy has 35, something like that, right? And there is no relation at all. You can call this as a port, PORT. You can call this as a network hop, something like a server, a router, anything. For example, router. And similarly here, router may be connected to multiple mobile devices. This is a mobile device, let's say, for example, mobile device. So this is unstructured. So I cannot store this kind of information in relational database, right? You can refine, and you can store it. It takes so much of effort. But with NoSQL database, you can dump everything, whatever is coming in the JSON format as it is. Again, if we speak about MongoDB, we have objects there, we can dump as it is. But if you speak about Elasticsearch, it is good for text-based searching only, and we will be having indexes and we'll be storing in there. It's again a JSON format, right? There are multiple ways, but NoSQL and SQL difference. This is the one, like for unstructured data. Cool. Now let's speak about. Okay, any questions here, guys? Before going further. Cool. To store non-relational data. Right. Let's speak about performances. Let's say in RDBMS, it is better performed only with appropriate queries if you have queries properly designed and everything, and it is not scalable. That means you can scale horizontally but not vertically. That means you can increase the number of instances only. That's all. right? When it comes to NoSQL databases, since there is no relation at all, it can grow hugely in number, in the size, like in the number of GB. At the same time, it will be performing based on a special indexes which will be designed again. Okay, so you are not going to retrieve against a particular ID or something. So basically, you will be retrieving against a particular property here. So that will be a little bit faster and it's scalable. Again, this is only for non-relational data, guys. If you try to save relational data in SQL, that is not going to happen. That is not going to work it's not going to perform better. Okay. Now, when it comes to storing files, let's say .xlsx file or .txt file, anything. So RDBMS has a worst performance for that. Storage storage of files is not efficient. That means you might have observed there is blob, clob for that, right? You will be storing some information in blob, converting your file into blob. That's a hectic process. It is like you're putting too much of burden on the server. Whereas in NoSQL, you just dump file as it is. So that works. It handles, because that is advantage with that. Okay, it can grow in number hugely. There is no issue with that, and it will perform, right? Storage of files is easier, right? Now let's speak about partitioning. Okay, I'm not sure this is something related to database level, but just understand the differences. We can partition our Oracle into a number of partitions. That depends. Like, partition is nothing but a storage space again. Okay, it's again key value pair. Partition means, so one key will be having a partition name, and then there will be related with the partition, right? Like that we can specify, and we can format the data in our needs, right? Here in NoSQL, partition is completely feasible, but the way we partition the data is different than what we do in the RDBMS, right? Excuse me, I need to drink water. Here we don't need to have a key value pair, right? Not required. Key value not required to partition the data and store the information. So we can use this as a software as service in NoSQL databases. Key value not required, but there we need key value, right? There are some disadvantages as well. Let's say this guy, RDBMS guy, provides ROVIDS consistency consistency at very granular level. Or a granular level. That means you can lock a particular record. You can say, for example, there are two threads one thread trying to write and one thread trying to retrieve the same record in a single database, in a single table. So in RDBMS, there is a concept of locking. You can lock entire table, or you can lock a single record only. So at that point of time, RDBMS outperforms NoSQL, because NoSQL doesn't have that kind of support. You have to handle everything explicitly in Java, or whatever the underlying technology which you are trying to access that. Okay, clear, guys? Any questions on that? Right. Now let's just see some of the NoSQL databases available. These are the overview, just overview. There are so many other differences which we are not going in detail. Let's see some of the non-relational databases available. First thing, very famous, open source, Mongo. So the data will be stored in the form of objects. So object.getOff, it's like a JSON string, .get, key value pair, pass it, it will respond. Right. Now the other one is Cassandra. This is really getting famous, guys, nowadays. This is because of its scalability. That is because of its stability, right? So any questions on that, guys? I'll speak about Cassandra in some time. Maybe 2 minutes of introduction, how it works. Here we will be having key spaces, and we will be having tables as well. key spaces and tables. Instead of schema, we'll have key spaces, and instead of tables, we have tables only. But the language which we use is CQLSH. Sorry, CQ Cassandra query language, CQL, and the script or the editor, that is CQLSH. Like SQL editor is there, right? Similarly, CQLSH editor is there. So this is one of the important topic which we'll be discussing with an example. Right. Cassandra is not like regular database, guys. We call it as a cluster. Why is that? So for example, let's see right over here, right over here, right. This forms a cluster like this. Like this. The regular RDBMS, if you are segregating, this will be one different database, this will be one different database, and this will be one more different database. It's not a cluster. Okay, it won't try to save the records in all the three different formats, and it won't respond based on the failure. Okay, here it is a fail fast. Sorry, it's a fail safe. What do I mean by that? So let's say this is node 1, this is node 2, node 3. There is a concept called replication factor. Okay, the replication factor in the sense, let's say if I'm trying to insert data once here, okay, if my replication factor is set to 2, so what it will do, it will try to write the data in all the three nodes, three instances. Okay, all the three instances from 1 to 3. It will only store the information only if the write is possible in at least 2 instances. Otherwise, it won't store the data. So clear with that concept? So this is called as replication factor, guys. So which means it is replicating the same record in at least 2 nodes if replication factor is set to 2. Clear, guys? Any questions?
Nodes means in two places.
2 places, at least 2 places. But in fact, the instruction will be sent to store in all the 3 places, all the 3 nodes.
Okay. Nodes means like a small DB, right? So they are storing everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's like
a backup.
So this is like exactly like a backup. This is entire thing is called as cluster. Okay. So in cluster,
Okay.
we have independent nodes. Node is nothing but a, like you can consider it as a server, DB server.
Okay.
So that's all. But they
Okay.
have capacity to speak with each other. Okay. Let's say, for example, if this guy went down, 2 is not responding. My replication factor
Okay.
is 2. So I have still my record persisted in 2 places. So I can easily retrieve the data. And since it is a cluster, so my threads may speak with 1, my threads may speak with 2, my thread may speak with 3. I don't care. The response will be very fast. Clear?
Okay. Yes.
So this is a basic concept of cluster, guys. So and it is highly scalable. Okay. It is really designed to maintain huge data, but it is again it will maintain structured data. Okay. Because I told already, instead of key spaces, instead of schema, we'll be having key space. Instead of tables, we will be having still tables only. But there is no concept of views, and there are so many other things which we won't get here. Clear with this?
Yes.
Cool. And there are some other things. Let's name like Janus graph or Tinkerpop, Apache Tinkerpop. That is a technology which we'll be using to connect. That is to store the graph database or graph level data, which you guys will be using very less until unless you work for any network organization. Anyway, that is ruled out. And there are something like Elasticsearch. You guys might be using that Elasticsearch. So basically, most of the companies will use this to store their logs. Why? Because searching is really fast here. So it is like an open text search database. That means any search. Let's say I am storing like I don't know the data, maybe like 10-20 pages of data, like just pure English, pure log files. Like you know how log files look, right? So we are storing that. All I need, let's say I need for a particular date, 10, 12, 10. I will be in the same format of date format, 10, 12, 2020. That's all. If you enter this kind of input, right, it will provide the log file for you very fast. Because of the way it implemented. let's not go in detail, but it's basically for text searching only, text-based searching engine. And basically we'll be mostly seeing this used for storing your logs. And there are so many other things which we are not discussing. There are cockroach, there is also relational database, and there are some kind of NoSQL database available with Amazon AWS, which I never worked on. But these are some of the really open source databases which are available in the market right now, guys. I know it is very quick session, but it was just to provide information about like the differences. That's all. How it's yeah, that's so much I can provide right now. Right? Any questions, guys? Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, I may need 5 more minutes of your time. Sorry for that. Let's discuss the project which I sent to you guys.
Harish, I think
Check.
project is not shared in the
No,
mail.
I sent it as a document attachment.
I couldn't find it, I think.
Anyway, I'll be forwarding you again. But meanwhile, please
Okay.
check in your spam. By mistake, it might have gone to spam.
Okay, sure.
Guys, this is nothing but the same kind of application what we have been implementing. Okay, for your understanding, I gave the same one. But the thing is, there are some improvements which you guys have to do. Right. First, I am. Let's go through the statement one by one. First, a owner or it's a company. It's like a company wanted to sell their sorry, not sell. Wanted to rent their trucks. Okay. And also, if I am a owner of one more truck, I can register my truck in my website, in this website. Not website, basically we will be dealing with services. Don't concentrate on the UI for now. So we'll be dealing with the web services. So they can use one of our web service to register their truck. At the same time, they can use the our service to input the availability of the truck. So do not get complex. Do not make it complex. Let's make it you can book at a max of like a week, or if you guys want, consider it only 2 days. Okay. And you need to store this kind of information, VIN number, because to identify vehicle, if it is lost, we need a VIN number, and we need to provide license details. And for the person, whoever is booking the truck, he needs to know about model and the year, because some guys has their specifications. They need to book only this year for this price and everything, right? So these are the information which you need to provide to the user when they are searching for the truck, right? So that is basic part. And then once entered the data should be saved into database and needs to be retrievable using search. That's what I spoke about, search engine search feature. And owner should be able to add availability. I also spoke about that. So it's like two different guys. One person is like the owner of the truck, but he doesn't have to do with the company. Now the other one is a company, the company management, like truck fleet management company. So he owns this these features, this microservices. Okay. So we need to provide a way to input to our data into our system for both these guys, right? Now user should be able to book the truck for a maximum of week time. That's up to you guys. If you want to change it to 2 days, whatever makes easier for you, right? After that, once he books that, we needs to store the information of the user who booked the truck, like license number, email ID, and number of days he's booking, the username. Username in the sense, do not create the login details and all. Forget about that. We can use the email. Just use the name of the person. Like let's say Harish Pemasani. That's all. Like that. Now, if a truck has been booked, you should update the availability table, which means for the next time when I search that truck should not be visible for me for availability. That means it should not be available. Okay. You guys have to come up with the logic how you are going to do that. That is my requirement. Now, as a owner of the company, I'm interested in retrieving bookings on daily basis. So I need a functional to like I need a service which will generate me the a report in the form of JSON, like per day bookings. And guys, think in microservices architectural style and come up with that. So if you ask, I can provide you some of the service names, like for creating a truck details for both the company and individual person. So you need a truck service. Okay, truck detail service. So what it has to take, complete information about truck, right? At the same time, it has to take information about availability of the truck as well, right? But here we are not storing the availability in the truck database. So we'll be storing the availability in a different database. Let me put it in a picture here for better understanding. So we need, let me put it this way. We need truck detail service, right? So we will be storing the information in a DB here. It can be single data, I mean like a single file, guys, a single table, right? So it has to take input for truck details plus availability, right? Now after storing this here, this guy has to communicate with our service. This is one more service. Let me bring that here. Okay, it has, this guy has one more database schema. This guy will talk to this. So here there will be a common relation that you can use as truck ID here for storing the information, maintaining, but you cannot establish physical connection because these two are two different databases, like ID here, but you can use that ID for retrieval purpose. ID and ID. That's what we did, if you remember properly. Right. Now here this guy has to communicate with this guy. All he has to do is send a truck ID along with the availability information. Truck availability information. That means for a week when it is available, when it is not available. Availability. So you will be storing here along with ID and the availability information in the single table. Cool so far? Any questions on that? Cool. Any questions on issues, concerns? Right. Let's name this availability. Okay. Once it is stored, now I need to have a search service. Let's go to home again. I need to have a search service. Here, this is my search service. So what it will do? So since it is, I need the availability information, so I will query this guy. So this guy will query this guy based on the ID, truck IDs. Okay, based on the truck IDs and based on, basically forget about IDs. You will be responding with IDs based on the dates. Okay, let me put it in this one here. The query information will be based on the dates. So to date and from date, you will query that to date and from date, and you will respond a list of availability classes to this guy. So again, this guy doesn't have information about trucks. So what he will do, whatever the availability you provided to this guy, he will call with the IDs, using the IDs, he will call this truck guy, truck details. So we'll get the truck information here from here. So you will merge both the information and you will send it to the end user saying that this is available, right? So here this guy doesn't deal with any database. Cool, guys? Any questions?
So are we going to start from the scratch?
If you want, you can take the same information which I provided. That's up to you. But any questions on the implementation so far which I discussed? Is it clear?
Okay, while saving this truck details plus availability, I doesn't understand. I mean, what is this?
Okay. So here you will be storing the truck details, like the VIN number, the name of the truck, the person, owner, and everything. That's all. But the availability, like let's say it is available on 12/10/2020. That is availability. So you will not be storing in this database. You will be storing that information by calling this availability, and it will be storing here, right? What is the cross reference here? How can you identify? So once you store the truck information here, first you have to store the truck information. You will get a ID. ID will be generated. So that ID will be mixed along with the availability information and will be sending to the availability service. And that information will be directly stored in this table. Is it clear?
Okay, along with the truck details, we'll be storing the availability of the truck also, right?
Yes.
While saving in the
Yes.
DB, first DB.
But here you will be storing this truck information in here, availability information in here. There is the only difference.
Okay, okay. What will be the availability information in that? I mean, only the one column number of days.
No, that you need to come up. Think about that. Like let's say it may be a list of parameters, list of dates. Okay.
Number of days will be okay, I think, right?
Whatever, it's up to you design guys. This is like there is no nothing called right and wrong. It is for your benefit that you guys should understand what is happening in microservices, how the communication works. That's why I gave this. Or let's make it very simple, make it only for a week. That's all. Do not go for more than that. So you will be storing information about the truck only for a week. So you will be having information whether the truck is available or not for 7 days. After 7 days somebody has to give you information again. Sounds good?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now the search service you understood, right? So somebody will call search service here. So I don't have any information. So I'll get this guy based on the dates. So I'll be having availability information. This guy will respond with some ID and availability information. So that ID is basically store truck IDs. So I'll be calling this guy here, truck details. I'll get the truck details and I'll merge together both and I'll respond. Right. Once it is done, let's come to booking. This is booking. So based on this, user will pick one truck, basically ID, he'll provide ID, truck ID and a number of days and his details. That's all here. So what you will do, the booking information, store the data. Right, once storing the data, this guy has to send an information to this availability guy saying that, hey, there is a booking availability, you need to update this table. So you will do that. After that, so if I need a report, you can use this booking data table report to generate the reports. And reports is an optional functionality, guys. If you guys can make it, forget about that. That is okay. But this is bare minimum expected. Is it clear? Or any concerns?
We need to create 3-4 pages, right, for the user interaction. For the one is for the save the details of truck, right?
Yes. One is for
Again,
the details of the truck, right?
one for availability. We need to check this. We need to
Yes.
pass
One for
the truck
availability.
number.
Yes. One for search.
After,
But guys,
after that,
remember the
okay,
availability service is not going to speak with user. Availability service is just like a mediator here. It will speak with truck service. It will speak with search service. This is our search service. Search is something is going to related to like it will provide you the appropriate truck details based on your input dates, which means its truck service will provide only available uh, trucks for particular.
okay. Means we don't need to create availability search page, right? When the
No, no,
user is
guys,
search,
guys,
we
do
need
not go for a web application. It's just a microservice architecture which I am expecting. That's all. I don't want you to put
We don't need to have the UI, right?
UI, not required.
Yeah.
So basically the message format will be in the JSON or XML. Basically, I would prefer JSON.
Okay, Harish. If suppose the duration of 1 week is expired, then the truck details should be there or what?
No, truck information will be there. But the thing is, whenever I search, it won't come up because of the dates, right? Somebody has to give new dates again.
Okay, in the availability of the list, it should not come, right?
It should not come. That's all. Let's
Okay.
take this example. Let me put it like this. Okay, let's take a notepad. Where is my notepad? Right over here. So my table list will be like ID. Okay, that is a column ID, and then truck underscore ID, and then the date which is available. Like let's say it is available for next 7 days, right? So whatever the days you can go with. Maybe you can go with available on, like independent date, something like this is one. And my truck ID, let's take it maybe 239, something, whatever the unique ID which you are going to generate, and available on, let's say today's date. It is available today, which means 18/12 2020. Similarly, I told you for next 7 days, right? So this will be in 3NF, 1NF notation. We cannot granularize that. So like this, there will be 7 records persisted. Ah, crap, this is coming down. Like that. But the IDs will be changed here, not the truck IDs, because we are trying to save the same truck information for 7 days. Like that. Our primary key will be this ID, not this ID. This is, you don't have to do a foreign key because we cannot do establish physical relationship between 2 different schemas, right? Now this is 19th available. If 20th is not available, let's say, then 21, then 22. If 23rd is not available, 24, and that's all. That makes my week. I don't need this record. If this week expires, if somebody comes and inserts again, he has to insert a new record again, like this. So that will be whatever the increment sequence incremented, like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? And I'll make one more thing here, guys. Something like this can be date. Let's change that. So easy for you. Without any gaps, you can directly blindly put it 7 days, and you can take. Now here there will be a boolean variable is AVI available. So you can use a flag like, on this day this truck is available, on this day this truck is available, on this day it is not available, on this day it is not available, something like that. So in future, if somebody books, let's say if he's booking this truck on this date, so at that point of time, what I will do, I'll mark it not available, and I'll insert this booking information in booking table, like the ID, this ID. That's all. Clear?
This booking ID, truck ID is different or same?
No. If you have like 10 trucks, let's say if you have 10 trucks, truck ID will differ, and the date will also differ for 10 trucks. Okay, let's say let me write the other way. Now that's good, right? Here, whatever the ID, that is unique ID, let's say 6 or 7, maybe 9, 10. So my truck ID is different. I have second truck, 298 truck ID, and it is available on 2020. Like that. That is available. That means yes. Okay. Guys, this is up to you again. That the way you design it, that depends on your analytical skills, how you want to design it. So I'm telling you a layman perspective of you, even though if you do not want to spend too much time on database, see here, the implementation problem is with the microservices, not with the database. I want you to completely think in microservices architectural style. That's all.
Okay.
This is a very layman way, I know that, but still, for now, I don't want you guys to stress out too much. Just simply implement. There is a simple query you can write, right? Say for example, dates 18th to 20. I'm searching for 1820, right? So I can query based on like where date between 18 and 20 and is available equal to yes. That's all. It will give me results.
So 18 to 20. So there will be many trucks will be available, right?
Yes, many trucks
Like
will be
that.
available. We'll be sending the truck details. That.
Okay. Okay. So based on where we're comparing based on the dates, right?
Based on the dates and this availability column.
Okay.
It should be yes. So let's say if tomorrow there is a booking for this truck 298, what you will do? You will simply mark it not available. That means N. That's all. Whenever you search a query, it won't come up. So clear, guys? Any questions on that? If you guys need some information, entity diagram or something, I will try to create it over weekend and I can send it to you guys for better understanding.
Okay.
Yes,
So
Harish.
everybody needs to do on your own, right?
I thought of making teams, but since you guys never worked with together, I assume that you guys has to work on your own. and communicate with each other if you guys need any help.
Okay.
And as I
Okay.
told, please feel free to contact me. I'll try to respond.
Harish, your email ID, man. How I contact? I am still
So
not
I didn't give you my email ID. Were you not there?
No, that Gmail. I tried to send that Gmail. You're right, but I'm not able to send that.
Wait, let me ping it
That
right away. Chat. So Ramlal, right? I'll be sending it to you. That's my.
yes.
Harish, these information
Email
are
one,
there in the documents, right?
Harish.
Sorry, what was that?
Harish. Before I tried to send this email, but I think I don't have the access.
No, I
Means
have it.
after
I
1 day or
enabled it. I enabled it right now. Don't worry. I gave it right now.
okay, okay then.
Yes. Yes, Shahan. What was that? What was the question?
Yeah, I was saying like this information is in the document which you are going to give us, right?
I already provided. Yes, have a look at it. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to mail me. Not text me. Mail me, please.
Yeah, sure. Can you please resend to me? I think I didn't get the attachment, or maybe everyone not got the attachment because you have mentioned everyone, right?
Everyone was there.
Yeah.
Sure, I will try to retrigger a mail for you. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, guys, I will let you guys go now. And again, I'm telling you, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact and check in your drives as well. Maybe I will be placing assignment folder in the shared drive so that you can find that information. Right. And I'll let you guys go. Thanks for your time. Thanks for attending.
Okay,
Hope you
thank
guys
you.
will do great in your projects. And happy Christmas. Happy holidays.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Harish.
you,
Same to you.
Harish.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.